turn. My dog decides to randomly start fucking chewing on
I
her
saw
bone.
I saw a Doge.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, he needs silence. Let's chew this bone.
Dude, you want to do a podcast while I'm eating, or I'm thinking about doing a podcast while I'm eating. Oh, you're gonna hear me smacking those fucking pork chops.
Humans eat.
Can't avoid it. Cannot avoid it. I actually have some really interesting talking points,
All
and I
right.
think you'll be intrigued to hear them. I think they'll make you question things. I think they'll make you question
As
things. And
if
if
I
and
don't already. Holy shit. You get more questions? I'll take it.
if they're good enough that make you question something as core belief as religion, then I think they're good questions. I think these are really good logical questions. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Buddha. Is this any last words? This is any last words and any last more any last words? Fuck it.
Yeah, dude.
Uploaded my channel.
Yeah, this is your boy. You already know who I am if you're on here, man. You already know. You've seen this kid too, cause I'm guessing we're not gonna all of a sudden get like a million views on this video. So I think it'll be pretty close to home. But hey, if we reach someone new, I hope you enjoy.
We should definitely be reaching a few new people because I posted on my social media like I upload videos and I don't do any like marketing for myself. Like I don't put myself out there. Nobody knows I make YouTube videos unless I tell them about it. So
Yeah, same.
my own fault. But this time I said, hey, I'm doing a podcast this Friday. Give me some topics or ideas.
Hmm.
One person said DMT, but I was like, I don't think I.
I've done a little bit of topic on that. It's a fun one.
Have you done DMT before?
Yeah, I didn't break through like how you're supposed to. I had recently done another trip of sorts, to be honest with you. So I was like, I'm gonna take this one a little lighter. So I didn't get to experience the full thing. Kind of regret not just jumping into it, but hey, um, I've done enough of psychedelics and different things in general. Um, I mean, will there be another day where I do them? That's to be determined. For right now, a clean and sober life. I haven't done a podcast sober ever, so this will be the first. It's I am used to. It's funny, like you start rolling up. It's funny
Yeah.
though. Like I was drinking and smoking throughout all the podcasts. Like there was a beer in my hand for 2 fucking hours, multiple beers.
It's gonna be even better. It's gonna be even deeper,
Deeper mind.
clear minded, clear
Yeah.
minded. But my experience with DMT, dude, where did it even start? I mean, you're interested in psychedelics. At some point, you're gonna come across the DMT and the acid and all that stuff. I did the shrooms first, then I did acid at some point, and
Hmm.
then I became more and more interested in the DMT. But DMT is like not something super accessible where I'm from. Like it's strictly illegal until some new statute comes around a year or two ago in DC where it says we can sell these as gifts after you donate to us. Just buy it from somebody. But anywho, finally went and got one. I haven't broke through either, but I've honestly been pretty scared. I don't know. It's for me. It's like the feeling it gives my body when I first took it and the way it tasted. It was just like, you know what I mean?
Unpleasant.
And yeah, very unpleasant. Like it tasted like I still yeah, man. Did mushrooms after that. I was like, this is great. I don't think I have to do do this times 10 for any particular reason. I got some of my friends to do it. They loved it. They thought it was cool.
Yeah.
One of my friends, she was sitting down, closed her eyes, and she was in a whole other place. She came back. She was like, "Oh." It's like, yeah, welcome to the cool kids club.
The cool kids club.
But aside from that, I mean, I still have it. It's literally over there sitting on my dresser. I just have not pierced my lips to that thing and inhaled for any particular reason ever since like that last time. It just makes my body feel super weird. Super weird.
I think it's supposed to. I think that's.
I know, but it's like if you want to get used to it, you have to do it over and over again. And it's like I don't really have motivation to do that over and over again.
Yeah, no,
It's
and
weird
I
because I
don't
had the
know.
same phase with mushrooms. You have that fear phase where you're like,
Yeah,
whatever, and then you get over it. You're like, this is good for me.
this is good for me.
this is not bad. You feel me?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with that. But I have to get over that hurdle. But maybe someday in the future. I mean, it's not going anywhere. You feel me?
No, no, it's not. But yeah, man. So you want to? You said literally, I don't think I want to talk about this, and then we immediately jumped right into it.
We talked about it for that one person that asked about it. There goes your DMT discussion. That's as far as we're gonna go into it.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
This video is going to be centered around a discussion around religion.
Hmm.
I think religion is a potentially hard topic to talk about because so many people are taught so many different things from the very beginning, and you're taught not to question those things, and you're taught to dedicate your life, sometimes your earnings, your family, everything, even in death, you know. So I thought it'd be an interesting topic to dive down into because, you know, a lot of people, it's okay to be. I hate to use the word indoctrination when we're talking about religion, but it's okay to be taught something from a certain age and to believe it. It's a core belief because that's what you were taught. We're taught math, reading, arithmetic, how to do certain equations, and that's core. That's core. You know what I'm saying? That's stuff we go back to no matter what. But at the same time, I feel like people don't feel like they're in a position to ask questions or question religion because it's just the way it is, and that kind of stops them from going down these possible paths that lead people. I guess you could say astray. What I really want to say is, asking questions about your religion, the origin of it, religion wasn't here when the dinosaurs were around. Religion wasn't here when the Neanderthals were around. Religion has an origin, it has a starting point, and doesn't just so happens not to have an end point. But all religions have some point starting in time. So the more questions you ask and the deeper you dive down this rabbit hole, as you may want to call it, of religion, you know, you you learn that maybe some of this stuff isn't so finite. You know what I mean? Because I mean, me as a logical thinking person, I ask a lot of questions about stuff, and when it comes down to religion, the more you know about religion as a whole, the history of religion, the less concrete religion seems as a whole. There's hundreds of religions, thousands of gods, and they all have their own different prophecies and Jesus like figures that existed, and it's come to a point for me in my life where I started to ask questions, and it led me down this path of, I guess I can call it, my own personal enlightenment, because I was raised in an Episcopal Palean church, which is like general Christian church, no dancing, hooping, and hollering, and none of that. You just come, repent, break bread, and then you go home or whatever. But at some point, I started to question, this figure that nobody ever spoke to, nobody's ever seen, nobody's ever. There's no really any evidence that it exists, and if I wanted to start a church, I could do it. I could be a priest. I could be it's just like anybody could just do. It just didn't calculate for me that if this thing we're talking about is as divine as it is, then why are we using it the way we are? It doesn't seem like a divine thing. When I try to pray or talk to God, I don't know if it's my own delusion, but it doesn't necessarily feel like I'm actually talking to somebody. It feels like it's like I can't force myself to believe what I've been taught at this point in my life, because the amount of information that I've absorbed, it just causes you to ask questions. Sometimes it invalidates some things. And very recently, I came across, a new epiphany or endpoint as far as my spirituality or religion. And, we'll talk about that at some point. But how do you feel about religion as a whole?
Yeah, my dog was literally going ham on a bone. I'm sorry, girl, but that can't do during a podcast.
It's okay. While she bones, I'm gonna get them chops.
Chops. Okay. I'm gonna just break it down, dude. He'll just come back in and I'm gonna be rambling. I can do this. Religion. Yeah. No, a lot of the points that he was making were excellent. I think that, what's up, man? Hey, you got some food. Yeah. Uh, religion is a very, like you said, kind of just a touchy topic in general. And I think it stops, like, it's one of those things where, whoa, better watch yourself there. Because it will get a lot of people riled up. But does that mean you should just shut up about it completely? No. I mean, I was brought up Christian. So most of my childhood, up until I really hit like a teenager, I believed in God, the Bible, all that. Like, it was just kind of, I don't know if it made sense to me, but it resonated with me enough throughout childhood to where I wasn't big on questioning it. And then it just kind of got to a point where I did question it right when I was hitting about a teenager. And I decided that, okay, let's explore other options. Let's see what this is all about. And I began kind of questioning the Bible. I was looking at it more from like a logical standpoint of like, okay, I don't know if all this stuff happened as much as it is just stories to tell something greater. So once I started not taking the Bible so literal, I began coming to a different interpretation of what, maybe God is or isn't, kind of questioning, does this even exist at all? And, I mean, to this day, I am still, like, although I have some core Buddhist beliefs and I kind of follow that somewhat, just like for a philosophy, I guess, I'm still kind of just agnostic. Through exploring,
What is agnostic for?
Oh, yeah. I don't deny that there is or isn't a God. So I'm not atheist. I'm not saying, there can't possibly be a God. No.
Right. There's no evidence that disproves that there's a God, and there's no evidence that proves there is a God.
Kind of a safe middle ground, but I definitely believe that there's something greater than us. I don't know what it is, but I feel it. I have felt it. I don't think that this is it. I think that I don't know if it comes in a physical form like how we might see it, or if it's in a particular place, but it's something meant to be beyond our comprehension. I just think that we're going to invent something that we can call God, AI. That's a whole nother thing, but maybe that's one possibility. We'll try and make our own image of it because that's what we do to fill in the blanks about everything.
Big touchy area for me too. Like, if we're talking about the divine and we're talking about, I can't find a better word for it other than the divine. divine, because I mean that's what you think of. You think Jesus and God and stuff like that. They're divine. They're above, outside of human comprehension. I don't think of anything man-made. I don't think, if I don't, I just can't see that. I can't see anything man-made coming anything close to knowing or having any knowledge of the divine. Because I mean, the God is meant to be unfathomable, you know, right? So I think it's human nature to try to understand the universe. People, philosophers, and people have been trying to do that since the beginning of time, trying to understand why things are and how things are. And I think in the process of that, you know, things got lost in translation. Because I mean, there are some arguments. There are arguments on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
There are arguments to support, and I guess we'll start with Christianity because we're Americans, and that's what we have here.
Yeah, that's our
So
cup of tea.
we can start with that argument and possibly move forward
Yeah,
because
I mean, look, to like we can get into it and debate it, but really and truly, I just to kind of cover the basis for all religions. So we're talking about a specific one, but this applies to all of them. I really think that there is nothing like you can be whatever you choose to be. Like I think kid here will agree with that as well. Like we're not saying no, not you're stupid if you like this or that. I think religion has its purpose and it serves it. Um, Although there's a lot of cons to it in general, but I think the to touch on like just basically Christianity as a whole, I just don't want to make any blanket statements. It's just more so we're gonna go into the the pros and cons, I guess, to being so devout in that way. All of them kind of feature that. And yeah, this is a tricky topic to get into, but I'm gonna let him kick
I
it.
think a good way to get into it is like what we did before, right?
Mhm.
Because you said your view. You said you're primarily agnostic, maybe,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Before I would say I was an atheist, I was an atheist because I didn't know a better term to describe how I felt. So for the most part, I just didn't believe the general idea that God and Jesus and it all comes from this Bible that was written all this time ago. You know, Christianity kind of its origin, which all religions have, they have a start date. They all didn't start at the same time either. They have history, and the history is intricate. And believe it or not, the way some of these religions started, especially Christianity and Judaism, they started very similar to each other. They just kind of had it, literally two guys that have two different ideas, pretty much, or two groups of people that have two different ideas, and they just branch off. But they all have the same foundation. If you put Judaism next to Christianity, you'd be like, this sounds strangely familiar. They just went in a different direction, you know. And believe it or not, a lot of religions have a Jesus-like figure.
Mhm.
So, and seemingly they can all prove each other right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's my thing. Here's my argument, and the only reason I make this argument is going to lead up to my religion or what I believe in at this current moment. I'll have two arguments here. You know, one is a pretty baseless, low-level argument. Second one is pretty logical. First argument is if you took somebody from each religion and you put them in a room and you had them debate each other,
Yeah.
who's right and who's wrong, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Who
There's
wins
gonna
that
be oh,
debate?
there's gonna be well over 300 people in that room, all who live and breathe. Some of them that live and breathe and die, literally, by their religion. But I don't want to generalize and say we Americans, but we are Americans. We, and not particularly us, but surrounding a lot of people in America, we were taught Christianity from the jump, and we were taught not to question it. If you question the cross your mom had above the fridge, you would get your ass whooped. If you questioned why we're going to church on every Sunday, or why I have to read Bible study, or why Jesus is King in the Holy Trinity, if you start questioning that a little too much and be like, you don't question that stuff in my house.
Yeah,
I've heard it
it's out of bounds.
a million times.
I've seen it in other people in the friends' family, like Mormon family. Great people, great people. Some of the
Right.
nicest people you'll ever meet. But holy crap, man, they threw that shit down his throat to make him. I mean, the rest of his family went along with it, but he rebelled, and I completely see why. It just seems so
I'm not one to call it
wrong.
a cult. I'm not one to call it a cult. I'm not one to call it a cult. But at the same time,
What is it though? Really?
right, in the way our country and the way the world uses religion, like it's a business now, especially in America. America capitalizes off of its Christians. The church donates a lot of money, especially to political causes. Like how is Israel getting money from our churches? Like that's happening. Churches there's fun, bro. It don't. These people war. God, I don't think God support. Would God support war?
What do you think, man? I mean, he's the creator. Why would he make war?
Listen, man.
He can
Here's the
decide.
way I feel about it. Here's the way I feel about it. Here's the grand argument here. Here's the kicker. Here's the one that really froze my friend when I was telling him the other day. If you took a human being, right, you wiped his memory, but not like I don't know how to speak English anymore, walk or talk or like so like function,
He
wipe his
just doesn't have memories.
blank slate,
Yeah.
blank slate, right? And say you put them in this hypothetical vacuum, right? And I say hypothetical because you put somebody in a vacuum chamber. The vacuum chamber is causing there to be an absence of air, which causes air pressure, which causes it to be a vacuum. This hypothetical vacuum, let's say instead of the air pressure, the air being removed, we're removing all the religions from the world or this person's, environment or life. Say they walk their entire life, 20 years. Let's say 20 years. Say they're 20, they walk 20 years of their life. They never come in contact with a Christian minister. They never come in contact with a Buddha. They never come in contact with a Muslim, a Jew, nothing. They don't come in contact with any religion whatsoever, right? Now, there's 2 points here. I like to believe that at some point, with the absence of religion, that person is going to start to look around. If you go outside, you look at the birds, you look at the trees, you start to ask some questions like, how does this work? You know what I mean? Trees produce oxygen, they have plant cells, and they have molecular structure, they have chemical bonds holding them together. They're made out of atoms and other molecules that have electronic fields, and there's a quantum, all this. And then when you zoom out, there's even more.
Hmm.
There's an entire cosmos that we haven't even fully explored yet, right? And I think there's more understanding or more reason and logic in, like, for example, how our moon formed, how our planet formed, how our solar system formed. Like, I think we have a generally good idea of how that happened because we also see it happening out in the solar system. We have all these nice cameras now that can pretty much let us see forward and back into time, which is
Yeah,
insane. So,
we got examples basically out
right.
there.
So we have evidence of how we were created, literally how we were created, literally how we were created, and we see this happening across the universe. And a very strange thing, you know, uh, our existence, the very existence of the universe itself is inside its own Goldilocks zone. Like, what if gravity was a little bit heavier, or if it was a little bit lighter? Nothing would be able to hold together, or everything would just come together and explode. You know what I'm saying? What if water had an extra molecule? What if carbon had an extra molecule?
Yeah, just one little
Just one.
extra guy floating around.
I'm telling you, everything would be different. Everything would be different. And we act like we have this understanding of the universe or this understanding of life and existence. As far as the universe's life is concerned, we're literally like a tick in a field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're a speck in the timeline, and people don't realize that. People don't understand the history of religion and how this stuff originated. They don't know about the stuff we're talking about now, like how our solar system works and how we are basically a product of our sun. We're a product of our galaxy creating life, which is insane to think about in all these perfect conditions for us to get here. But I say all that to say that person, after he takes that leaf off the tree and puts it under a microscope and he looks at the cells and then he looks closer and sees the atoms and he looks closer and sees the quantum fluctuation and all that other stuff, and then he looks out to the stars and he sees the stars, the supernova, the planets, and all that stuff. All that stuff to me makes, to a degree, we can explain it.
Yeah, no, I think we have a very limited understanding. I think there's a cap there. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think we're anywhere near that cap, so it might be a very large cap, but
compared to other things, like I think we have a better understanding of space than we do some of the deepest parts of our ocean. Like space is like feel as though the next frontier, and I feel like our origins could possibly be in space instead of someone made up. Because that person, here's the big point. If you put that person in a room now, say we just pick five random religions. You pick a Christian priest, a Jewish, you get where I'm getting at here, and you put them all in a room, and you try to get all those five guys to convince this guy that's gone 20 years just experiencing life, looking at the universe, looking at the atoms in the trees and stuff like that. What are the odds that they're going to be able to convince that person of any of those religions exist? Because I mean, my idea here is somebody wants to understand their origin. You want to understand your origin. Some people, it leads them to Christ. It leads them to Adam and Eve and the creating of the light and the dark and the whatever. But for me, if I look at my origin, we're literally like stardust. We are the universe almost experiencing itself. Somehow, some way, the universe was able to provide life, and we are that life evolving and experiencing. Like we are very intelligent beings. Like possibly the only intelligence in the entirety of the
hmm
universe, as far as we're concerned. We are the universe. Like it's weird to explain, but in a way, for me, it just makes sense. It makes more sense than just making some shit up. Some stuff that I know some people came up with a long
just
time ago.
blanket kind of statements, things to not really like patching holes, pretending they're not, there. And I think that what you're kind of hitting it, right where I am aligned with it is where we came from in this origin. And yeah, I think we are like a vessel. Whether this is through I just like to use higher power because that's kind of where I see it. Whether it's that put us being what we're made of, where we came from through this journey, and I do think that we are here to experience the universe, and that there is something even beyond all the stuff that we can talk about and think about. I mean, I think it goes beyond thought. I definitely think that it expands something greater than form. And I don't know what the exact purpose of it is. We're not really supposed to know. I don't think it's about knowing while you're here. That might take away from it. So I'm sure it's intricate, just like everything else. But it is a way of, because if you think about it, we could be very dumbed down in a sense of where we're at spiritually. And well, I think we can agree on that, like there's a level even here of how someone is aware. And then there might be levels to this, you know. This is just one. This life form, like the reason we haven't found any other life, Just the parameters. I
We
don't know.
are it. Like I kept when I was having this conversation with myself, I kept saying it over and over again, and it sounds weird. Like I know I can translate stuff for other people when I'm talking to them, but it sounds weird relaying it to myself, saying we are it.
Hmm.
We are the universe. Like out of like it's
It sounds
I don't
so
know how
it
else to
sounds
put
so
it.
simple, but I think it's not something that can easily, or maybe
Yeah, it's
is
not
even
something that we can explain.
it's not
That's what I was
supposed to
thinking.
be.
Like God is unfathomable. I think the universe and our existence, just how minuscule and just our existence in general, is unfathomable. The fact that life went from a single cell organism to what life is today, as far as our civilizations, like look at us though. We're fucking sitting on chairs on our
It's
computers right
never
now.
not gonna blow your mind if you always take it back to that scale. If you look at it and you just start with the basics, it
But that's the
always
thing.
does just
Some
blow their
people,
mind.
some people's minds are not even able to comprehend what we're talking about. It's too much. That's why they just keep it
Yeah, I gotta go.
Jesus
I
realm.
gotta go, man.
I'm just gonna go read my Bible because that's
What I
comfort.
know, and that's what. Yeah, I think a lot of it is comfort, you know, and that's not a bad thing. Imagine you have all these billions of people around here with no guidance, no purpose. Like, I think living like even a Christian way of life, it has a lot of good qualities.
I feel like if you give them, if you understand that people are struggling, and instead of giving them a purpose, you give them a deity or imaginable man in the sky or something like that. I feel like lying to them is doing more bad than good. I don't know, and that's a good argument. I mean, like your kingdom is dying or whatever.
That lie could be the
You
thing
can
that gets them through life, though, and makes them a great, quote unquote, great person, and that can be interpreted in different ways. But
But why would I be a good person simply because of God or because of heaven or hell?
they see
I don't believe in the existence of any of those, and I'm still
yeah, it doesn't mean you can't
for it.
be. It's not the basis for making a good person. It just so happens to be a vessel that kind of launches that. You live your life through Christ. You live your life through something greater than you. Um, you don't have to be told to be a good person at that point. You're just following the steps that you so heartedly believe in.
I want to do this because I don't like cutting you off. I'm sorry,
No, go.
but oh fuck, I was gonna say it was something along the lines of people questioning religion. Oh, say what you said again. Say what you said again. Oh, fuck, it's gone.
We're in no. Well, we were just talking about the how something like as simple as following the steps of Christ and that sort of thing. You don't even have to. It's not like an option of like, oh, I want to be a good person. It's just you so heartedly believe in these principles, and that triggered it.
That's another thing. Like, if you look at the Catholic Church and you look at churches, versions of Christianity that are much more serious. Like, if you go to the origins of Christianity, the Crusaders and the Templars and fucking shit, like when it was really going down, but they were really trying to lobby the church, and the church was an actual power. People feared the church. Even to this day, a lot of people say, "I don't want to go to hell.
I'm a
I don't
God-fearing
really care."
person.
I,
God-fearing
fear,
person.
fear.
Fear, fear.
Nah. The only thing I don't even fear death. You know what I'm saying? I have literally. If you ask me right now, what do you think happens after you die? I couldn't even make some shit up. I don't know. It could go a blank. I could be reincarnated. I could become a clover on the ground. Could become a cloud, a water molecule. I don't know. It's unfathomable. Nobody has any evidence whatsoever to show anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can break, like, that's something, a whole nother topic of just the afterlife, which we can kind of go into. You simplified your opinion of it. I don't know what it's going to be, but,
Heavily affected by religion, also the afterlife, because
mhm.
all different religions have different versions of the afterlife. There's no heaven and hell for some other religions.
Well, it's great to have that question answered for you. You know, the big mystery at the end that no one happens to know what really happens. You instead of living that
And then
life in
go for
fear, they'll
like hope and fear, hoping that if you do good things, I will be rewarded by being neighbors with the divine, but also if I do wrong, if I sin, and people sin all the like, I can't do that. I
we
can't,
can't.
I cannot, I can't wrap my mind around that. And very recently, I tried to get closer to God, to get closer to Christ, because I mean, this is where I was born into. This is my family. If I can't, it's not something. It's not a cookout conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you can really discuss with anybody because this is a core belief that people have that you're questioning. It's just like me questioning. Is like, do you have a mustache right now? You very clearly fucking have a mustache, but I'm questioning whether that mustache is real, if it's there or not. It's just like, brother, it's not
Non-negotiable.
it's strange, but I know for a fact, like, dude, what I know about just the history of just Christianity. I haven't gone into the history of all these other religions because there's so many. But I've dived into Christianity, and there's some sketchy stuff that if people really knew the truth, and if we're taught, I mean, like, there's a reason why some of this stuff isn't taught. Why a lot of stuff isn't just common knowledge because it would cause people to ask questions. When people start asking questions, that's when kingdoms come crashing down. Just do what we say, do what the scripture says, calm down, don't ask questions, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
And that's
history that
what
shows that. Once you start questioning what's really going on, you tend to see a trend of things going down to be built back up again, and it replays over and over.
the Bible has been translated up and down, left and right, so many times. I feel like the message, the true message, has been dumbed down a lot, and you lose the true message. I mean, dude, I don't want to be. If I'm, that's another thing that I was thinking. That's probably the first contradiction I had. It's like, why am I reading some other man's version of the Bible? Now there's five, six different versions of it. Like,
All through
what?
the Spirit of God. It's not man
No,
writing it.
I just wanted to talk to him directly, and I couldn't, or I didn't feel like, I felt like I was like forcing myself to do something I know is not gonna work. And mate, listen, who knows? Very interesting thing I came across. I was watching this guy that goes around interviewing these millionaires, billionaires, and stuff like that. And funny enough, they've all given their life to Christ. Every single last one of them. Not a single rich person that the dude interviewed has said otherwise. They've all given their life to Christ.
Or have they given their soul to money, the devil,
I don't
by
know, man.
following God? I,
I feel like on a baseline level, I'm a better person than some of these people that are walking the earth today. Some of the people that call themselves Christians,
oh, yeah.
and I don't fear. I don't fear damnation. I don't. I'm not looking for my golden ticket to heaven either. But I still don't want to see other people die. I don't. I still feel as though war is avoidable. I still feel as though we shouldn't have people that have 100,000 watermelons, and then you have people that are licking the juice up off the
Yeah, the
vine.
abundance in some areas and the lack thereof, and the
Like
others applies to
that's
everything.
human.
But
I feel like that's human nature that we have gone that we've left unaddressed. We've addressed all these other things like vaccines and getting sicknesses, but we don't address this part of human nature where it's like we have greed and we want power and we want glory and all this other stuff that causes hell on earth, as you can see when you look around.
are they to
Anyway,
be addressed, or because I do agree that would be great if we could change that, but just like I don't think religion is going anywhere. So war is probably not going anywhere. Greed has been here since, well, it could have the chance to be here. Changing
I feel like
things
we're
would be
smart.
great, but I don't know if we're gonna ever get to that frequency to where we could change it. I see a situation where maybe that is a possibility, But I don't know, with the way that society has trended and it continues to unfold, that we're going to be able to take care of those things that cause so much unearth and disturbance. It's almost like a built-in thing.
There are a lot of built-in things about the human biology and our intellect that we've tried to improve.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, just think about what's happening today with AI. It's an extremely powerful tool and technology. In the spectrum of human evolution, it's leaving us long behind. So
Well, we would rather try and build God before taking care of the hunger situation.
it's so weird because I mean, you said we have to get to a frequency. I feel like I'm on the frequency. If I had the money,
Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
it takes more than one dude that is on the frequency. It's
But
a collective.
it's so strange, man, because people have access to the same computer and information that I have access to, and I've told you about my relationship with my dad, and I've tried to talk to him about stuff like this, and he just doesn't care.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a big thing. You can never get through to someone that does just someone
Care.
doesn't care. I think that with the frequencies, an analogy I like to use is the radio station analogy. You can go up and down the dial on a radio station. Some people hear static or they hear songs that they don't care for, that sort of thing. That's a different frequency. You could go up the higher frequencies, and it becomes maybe a much more clearer sound. You go from AM to FM, that sort of thing. And people live under these radio frequencies. Okay, whatever you want to call it, their spirit, their entity, their human being, just who they are. I think it's just an. Oh, I'm not saying it's a solid thing, but I do think that there are different frequencies out
I
there,
agree. I
and
100% agree.
so you're tuned to 98.7. Your dad's tuned to 68.4,
One.
and bro, you know what happens when you're on one station? You can't hear anything else. And unless you're willing to go up and down frequencies, and usually people that, I mean, just the way it works, you start at a lower frequency and you want to hear something else. You want to feel something else. You grow into something else. So you become a higher frequency. Uh, Now, whether or not this has a start and an end, I'm not sure, but it's just one way of looking at it to kind of put it in your mind of like, okay, so when you said you just can't talk, you don't care, he's on that different station, man, and he ain't moving. He likes the way this station sounds.
That's extremely strange to me. Some people, and that's just the thing. Some people don't contemplate their existence. I've constantly contemplated my existence,
Hmm.
your existence, the existence of people around me, the existence of the trees, the birds, the wind, and the ground, and stuff like that. And it doesn't lead me to God. And if it does lead me to God, then the universe is God.
I agree. What are the odds that you and me are having this conversation together with very of like you and me to meet and talk and then also share these similar ideas and be able to have these discussions at this level is not exactly
Yeah,
common.
it's not normal. It's ineffable.
And for
It's
that to happen, man, it's just another example of the vastness of how crazy this shit gets.
the paradox.
Yeah.
Submit and believe, or you're an outcast. Get away from here.
Yeah, and I think certain people, I don't know why, but I just believe that certain people are meant to go down these different paths.
I
Like,
think something that matters is when you have a teacher, someone you look up to, or a mentor, and they lead you down that path to ask questions. Because when I was in my AP history class, we touched on religion and the origin of Jesus and where Jesus came from and the BC, AD, and all that other stuff. Because I of course, she took me aside after class because of the type of questions I was asking. She was like,
You okay?
"Slow down, buddy." But I was asking, I was like, "So, you feel me?" And it was. She was like, "You're absolutely right, but." This is what the book says. This is what we're taught. So we're going to go this direction. Then she pulled me after class and said, I like the questions you were asking. This is what you should look into. These are
Mm-hmm.
the names you should look into. This time period, this civilization, the Roman Empire here, Jesus, Yeshua, where do your real name? It's like you look up this stuff and you find more information, and then it's just like it changes your mind. But
Yeah.
some people, they feel like looking at that information is a sin.
They don't
They feel
need.
like
They don't
it's a
want to
trap.
look at that. You
It's a
know,
trap.
they have
You're trying to
no.
get me away from my God. You're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get me away from my Christians. Like, no, brother. I just want you to question. Like, nobody's questioning why we're getting taxed 40 fucking percent right now, 20, 30. Like, this is crazy.
No, we're
No
just
one's
getting
questioning it.
text.
We're just getting spanked.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting spanked.
It's
Getting
good.
assaulted with taxes. And nobody's questioning it. So, nothing. It's like, I think. And just think about it. If we are the universe, if we are God, like if the universe is God, we are a production of the universe. We are also God. We are literally
Yeah,
the whole.
You can't go around to people and say like like
You're
Kanye.
God, bro. I'm God.
Yeah, like Kanye said, I am a god. Um, no, because
In an egotistical sense, no.
yeah, but
But
what the
in
way that we
the
refer to God is something different.
molecular, biological sense,
Yeah, a
we are.
product of God, and I'm not thinking
I
about
mean,
God
we
with
aren't just a
a
product of God. We
what,
are God. If
what,
say the Big Bang happened, and these particles that made up the Big Bang make up universes, they make up stars, and then they make up the planets that come from the stars.
yeah,
It sounds like we came from the Big Bang. Sounds like
yeah,
with a whole lot of extra steps
yeah,
involved, of course, but I think that's a plausible argument. Because again, I mean, if somebody lives their life without hearing about any religion, and then you just try to lay Christianity on them at 45, they're gonna be like, dude, stay away. Like, you sound absolutely fucking nuts.
mm,
And that's assuming that person didn't seek a deeper understanding of the environment around them. You know what I'm saying? Never looked at a leaf under a microscope. You know what I'm saying? There's more.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know how much we want to touch on this, but there is that whole side of the simulation theory, which I find myself pondering that a lot too. I don't know if it's just as simple as some kids playing a video game right now and we're all just his minions and he's somewhere on a different level than we are. You know, but I do think it's interesting to contemplate the idea that maybe this is just some sort of simulation, not in the way that we think about it. But go ahead.
I think that we should stop doing that. I think we should stop trying to explain it because it's unexplainable. It's ineffable. Like the discoveries we're making, even at the quantum level, when you go past the atoms, past the molecules and stuff like that, when you go as close as molecular as you can go, it doesn't make sense. Our science doesn't apply to it. Our understanding of the universe doesn't apply at this molecular level. You know what I mean? And I lost my train of thought.
I think simulations is a way to dumb things down. You got a guy like Elon Musk who is seen as very
Right. We
credible,
keep trying to
smart.
explain stuff that's unexplainable.
And he
We
just
can't
wants to say,
explain.
"Oh, there's a 49.6% chance that this is a
Think about all the
simulation."
children that don't exist. Dude, I was talking to myself and I sounded absolutely fucking nuts. But I was talking to myself because I do this now. Look at me crazy, whatever. I was like, you realize you had to sacrifice over 1 million brothers and sisters again, right? You had to sacrifice, and not only did you have to sacrifice all the brothers and sisters of that one time, You got trillions upon quadrillions of uneffable numbers of brothers and sisters that never, ever, ever made it anywhere.
Well,
You
if
know
they
what I
didn't
mean?
make it anywhere, were they ever there?
They were living. The sperm and egg
That
cells
was
are living
that was
cells.
living, but not
That's what I'm
anything
talking
past.
about.
Yeah, I know,
That's
I know.
you. That's you. That's you and me. That's what we. That's how we originated, and that's how we came to be here today.
Thank you all for coming
We were
today.
fucking cells, bro. Like, and once you try to fathom the amount of life that didn't get the chance to exist, the amount of life that never even got a ponderance, the Earth, look at Mars, has no atmosphere. It's a fucking barren wasteland. What is, there's so many again what ifs that are unfathomable. I think we should stop trying to label the unfathomable. I think that's our biggest caveat because that's why we have so many religions today. Everybody's been trying to label this and label that or trying to explain it in their own divine way, and it's just like, dude, now everybody just sounds crazy. I'm gonna be honest with
Well, it's
you. You
funny.
look at
Like you say labels, and it brings me back like to they talk about like to think about Adam and Eve. If you were to go about that story right, they even looked around and tried to convey what they were seeing. It was a long time before we actually came up with language, but we just love to label the hell out of everything. Everything has to have a name. It's almost
stars,
it's just built in. We got to name those
oceans,
things. We
everything.
we got to name it all. It's all got to have a label, and it goes back to like filling in the blanks. We as a human species hate that. We hate like
We hate the unknown. We hate
oh we can't
we hate the
stand it,
unknown.
and
No,
we'll make shit up in order to fill it in.
dude, that's what I'm telling you. Just like the afterlife and dying, there's so many theories of what happened. Like DMT is one of them. Some people think that when you die, DMT that is
Oh
naturally
yeah,
released in
yeah.
your body, it floods your brain, and then you go
I've
into
heard
this other
that.
universe or whatever, and you become one with the universe. It's just like,
Yeah. Oh, cool.
and then they got the pineal gland and going to the brother. There's so much, and people are completely uneducated. They've only scratched the surface, and they feel as though that's my thing. Like people have only scratched the surfaces as far as
Just scratch it a
understanding
little
things.
bit, like, oh, okay, all right,
Right.
that'll be good.
They find a diamond on the ground and they're like they dedicate their whole life to this diamond. There's 100 diamonds over the hill, bro. There's like a million of them. Big diamonds, small diamonds, little diamonds, red diamonds, orange diamonds. There's a lot of different diamonds. You just
Yeah.
never got the chance to see it because you saw your one diamond and you turned around. You decided it was wrong to ask how the diamond got there. You decided it was wrong to question anything relating to this diamond. You just decided that this diamond was yours and that it's gonna be key to you forever. It's gonna be a staple in your life. I can't do that. Literally I just cannot. I've tried. I've tried to be a Christian. I've tried to talk to God, Jesus, the Holy Trinity. I've tried to talk to the whoever. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I feel like
You are, because
talking
you're
to
God.
myself. Remember, I told you what happened my last mushroom trip. I was talking to myself, and that was one of the best conversations I've had with anybody in my life. I've learned that to just do that. You know what I'm saying? Say my theory is correct or whatever, and I am the universe experiencing itself. Hell, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and I'm experiencing this and experiencing that. And I'm talking to myself down, but I'm telling myself about the experience. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I learned from talking to myself. Like I actually, like it's my for me and I think it's called pantheism, the unity of all things. Like all things are one. Everything comes from the same thing. Everything is one. Which
Got it
you
tattooed
think
on me.
you thought yeah, you might just be a pantheist, bruh. But anywho, I believe in this. The evidence that we have points to this, and not just the evidence the United States shows us, because nobody wants to talk about how geographical religion is. If you look at the Gulf states, there's a set fewer religions in that area.
Mm-hmm.
You go away from you go west, there's a set several religions over there. You go a little bit east, certain religion right here. And you go to the United States, well, what do you got? You got that cross. You feel me? It's it's weirdly geographical, but everyone feels like they're at the center of it. Everyone else thinks that everyone else is just revolving around. They just all floating in the clouds, and this is it. You know, like I can go as far as to say, the Nation of Islam is deeper than Christianity. Like they go as far to not eat certain foods. They make the journey to Mecca, and stuff like that. They actually believe that stuff. Christians, we just say it because it's what we were taught. A lot of people don't even really believe.
How many
You know what
people
I'm
say
saying?
that they're Christians and never like gone to church?
How many people people in my job say the people at the church people are the worst people to work with. They have the worst attitudes, and then you have, and could be wrong here, but you're living in a country that preaches mainly Christianity, and there's damnation as a part of that religion, and you have school shootings, murders, rapes, and all types of other devious stuff going on. If these people really feared damnation, they wouldn't be doing this stuff. If these people really fear burning in hot shit in hell for the rest of eternity, I don't think they'd be doing this
You're
stuff.
saying like the Christians that go and commit these acts?
Not just that, but the it's like big picture and small picture like that. Because in God we trust is still on our dollar bill. You know what I'm saying?
I
Christianity.
have a theory about that. I think the God is the money. That's
It could be. It very much is. I mean, the way society and our system is made up. If you have no money, you really have nothing. You know what I'm saying? You can't buy a house. You
God
can't
is
pay your
everything. Money is
bills. You
everything.
starve. You can't buy clothes. You can't clean yourself. You get infected and die or some shit. But again, that's another man-made thing. I don't believe anything that's man-made can be God. Let's put it like
We're
that.
gonna try our damnedest, dude.
That's the thing, though. It's we can try, but I don't think it can be. And that's why, to a degree, I think Christianity has some man-made proponents to it, and that kind of mentally and internally kind of invalidates it a little bit.
Well, you could say that about all religions. They're all man-made.
But that's another thing. That's why it's just hard for me to just take it in and just not question, because I question everything. I question my own actions. I question everything. You have to. I mean, it just works for me. But yeah, man, this is a conversation. You can't have this conversation with anybody. I think I tried to have this conversation with my dad, and I just stopped because his brain is already not malleable. He's not really subject to
Yeah,
change.
that shit's concrete now.
So
Hard
trying to
and concrete.
introduce a new idea like the religion you've been believing your whole life could be wrong.
I'm good.
Nah.
I'm good. I'm good off that, son.
All right. So yeah.
Well, you want to wrap it up or you want to keep going? We got about an hour in.
Make sure I'm even recording.
I'm recording something.
I don't know. I feel like we missed. I feel like we missed something.
Well, I think we covered a lot of bases, but this is something that isn't a 1 hour conversation. If you
I
want to
feel like
cover every base of religion, we'd be here.
I feel like this conversation was biased towards our own beliefs.
Well, what do you know? That's how a lot of conversations seem to go.
Like what would be the argument that we're wrong and that there is a God? What would the argument be? What would it sound like?
What would it sound like? I mean, they would just go back to what they've been taught. I mean, when you have something that is a belief, it's not necessarily truth. And so when you're talking about it, you aren't like able to ever state it with a fact. So whatever they say is going to come from their own perspective, their truth.
But when you're in a position to think for yourself, and you're not taught anything.
No, you
Where does
observe.
that road? Where does that road? I feel like that road would lead people to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, eventually you're gonna zoom in, and eventually you're gonna zoom out. Eventually you're gonna go internal. Look into your brain, into your soul, into your heart, and stuff like that. I've done all that.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken the mushrooms, turned off all the fucking lights, put on a fucking face mask, put some music on, and just fucking sat there and taking it. You know what I'm saying? Some people go out and frolic and shit. I've done no frolicking on psychedelics. I can be honest. I don't think I've ever done anything fun on psychedelics.
Oh.
It's all been like self exploration,
Yeah.
and it's led me away from all these people like handing out, reaching their hand out to me is like, hey, come with me, come in this direction. This is what I believe in, or this is what I was taught. I'm kind of more so in a position now where I think for myself and I trust my own intuition. I feel like if somebody thinks for themselves rather than going blindly off of some taught belief, I feel like that would land somebody at a different endpoint than you know, where people are at now. Because, like I said, people are hardcore about religion. People are going to war for religion right now. Some people, I mean, you could consider what's going on right now a holy war. You know what I'm saying? They're striking Lebanon and striking these holy sites and destroying fucking, effigies and stuff. Like,
Yeah, and that turns people like you and me off immediately too. Just seeing the byproducts of this.
a argument. Iran, they posted a video of them burning a Baal statue, and Israel came out and said that we take this as an attack, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The argument, demons. There's a lot of demon worship. There's a lot of people that believe firmly in demons, sacrifice people and things for demons, make contributions and donations to demons. Dude, in Iran, they burnt a Baal statue. Baal statue. You know what Baal is, right? It's one of them demons. Burned it, a big ass statue, and it was on the news. And the prime minister of another nation responded to it as if they sent a threat at him.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's
I mean, I think that there is some form of
when I go down that
demons.
road, like it's almost like
I don't.
I have to clear my mind and think clearly without all the cloudiness. Because in the same way that people believe in demons, is people believe in Christ, and Christ and all these other religions could be disproved or held at you
Right.
know whatever point. But
But there is demonic shit that goes on. I don't know if it's demons, but how else would you define like a bunch of kids being, whether it's the blood rituals, that's all the horrible shit that goes on in this world, that could be defined as demonic, and whether it's demons working through people or something else that's greater than that.
I have an interesting idea on that. So I know what you're getting at. I know what you're talking about. But you know, never had this conversation or had this thought process before. This is just what my mind light bulbs right now when you said that. We've been experimenting on humans biology for a long time, a very long time. Like we there could be things about us that could make us superhuman that we do not know about because
Mm-hmm.
they found out, and why would they want everyone to be a superhuman anyway? You feel me? Like there's people that like astral projection and stuff like that. You know what I'm getting at. Like there's stuff that powerful people know about human biology
Mm-hmm.
and stuff of that nature that again is just unfathomable. We couldn't possibly think about. We know we've scraped the surface of what's been released and declassified, but when it comes down to the kids and the stuff they were doing to kids, with the adrenochrome and the blood and all the other stuff, I feel in a weird way, I feel like that has to do with something biological that they were aiming at. Like there's got to be some reason, unless they were just
I don't think it, yeah, there's
about.
something. There's something there. I don't think it's just purely I want to do some demonic shit. I just think it comes out that way and it's a byproduct of something that we're unaware of.
Yeah, because I like to think that if demons exist, then there has to be some type of opposite
Right.
force. You feel me? There can't just we there can't just be demons.
Well, what if we're living in hell? This is hell.
Like what about exorcisms and stuff like that? Like I don't I can't prove or disprove the validity of any exorcism because I mean we've had movies about them. Like anything we have 100 movies about. I got a question, bro.
Hmm.
We got 100 movies about some shit. Question time.
Where'd this come
'Cause, I mean,
from? What are we doing? What are we doing
there's so
here?
many. There's so many things. Like, dude, my coworkers were watching the new Nuremberg fucking TV show or something, and I was just like, this is oddly timed, you know.
Hmm.
And there's so many Nuremberg shows, so many Nuremberg trial shows, so many shows about that time period, so many movies, and it's just like
Yeah, I don't know if it's just about making money.
it's not. It's about painting a picture and painting a narrative that people can emotionally relate to. And funny enough, the film industry is literally like that. I heard something in the film industry that from a guy in the film industry that blew my mind. He said that if you look at every movie that's been released in the last 5 decades from the United States, no matter who it's released by, if it's making it to the box office, there is 100% has to be one emotionally relatable white person in the show or the movie. And you go back and look, Black Panther, who's the little white CIA guy? Bro, Black Panther 2. What, brother? You look at any like big black movie that I knew of. Even brought up John Travolta. What was that fucking movie he was in with Pulp Fiction? Every like it's we going down conspiracy theory. We can't do it.
Yeah, no.
Can't do it.
I just,
We're blowing people's minds.
well, save that for other conversations. I think that just wrapping this up into a as concise of a religious topic,
What is the conclusion? Conclusion is religion overrated?
well, to us,
What is religion versus spirituality? What is your
mm,
definition of spirituality?
I think religion's like following. Well, to answer the spirituality, I don't know how to define that. Like, in a
Let's look it up. What
hey,
is what is
what is that definition? Let's use our sponsor, Perplexity AI.
It's actually Copilot. Don't ever mention Perplexity.
Oh,
Don't use that.
sorry,
It's Linux.
Joe
Spirituality is the
Rogan, dude.
human drive. Spirituality is the human drive to seek meaning, purpose, and connection with something larger than oneself. Whether that something is the universe, nature, consciousness, or the sacred. It's not tied to any one religion
Yeah,
and can be deeply personal. So
I've been riding on
that
that
sounds like
wave.
that sounds like somebody can be spiritual rather than religious.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Maybe I'm more,
you're on the
but
spiritual train, brother.
is pantheism spirituality or is that religion? That's another good question because because funny enough, Einstein, a lot of Einstein theories that he made 50 years, a long time before he died, 20, 30 years later, they're accurate. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it. His idea of the universe and his physics, his quantum physics, the stuff we're
Yeah,
discovering now. I was telling you about before. He also believed in, a kind of pantheistic belief that we are like the universe experiencing itself. You know, and I found that interesting as well. Because I mean, you think about it. Spirituality is the human drive to seek meaning, purpose, a connection with something larger than oneself. Again, if I'm born on a modded server that has no religion, and you start looking around again. It just leads me to the. I feel like you end up at the same road because things look weirdly perfect. They look weirdly, order. They look very
There's
orderly.
there's a lot of order,
Right. But there's also a
a lot of chaos. It's a chaotic order,
It's not even just a chaotic world. If you zoom out farther, it's a chaotic.
No, I mean the whole thing is chaos, but it's so orderly. It's weird.
If you zoom in at our skin cells and stuff like that, I mean, dude, the atoms are always, everything is moving at a constant rate. You know what I'm saying? Then again, man. For people that's watching this, whoever's watching this, man, ask questions. Seek valid answers to those questions. Maybe not answers from the people that tried to, fucking teach you.
Listen.
I'm not going into church to answer these questions.
I mean, you just need to
I'm not
listen
having
and interpret
conversations
for
with
yourself. It's about being a free thinker, which is the world is set up for you to not be that way.
Imagine having this conversation with a priest. What do you think that priest would say to you?
Well, going to hell.
Get out of my church.
Going to hell.
Demon.
Yeah.
This is a logical question. This is logical. I mean, for real. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not invited to the cookouts anymore. That's all I know.
All right, man. I'm closing it out here. Thanks for listening, all. Peace.